Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Command Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I'm going to be telling you which precon you should be buying. I guess I should say based on the cause, based on what they are worth, based on what the cards that are in there and what value they might have. I'm not telling you, hey, yeah, you're going to like this precon because this is the kind of precon you might want to play. So yeah, keep that in mind. This is based on the worth of the precon, the current value of the precon's cards. With all that said, let's jump into it. And we're going to be starting things off in reverse order, starting off with Food in Fellowship, which is coming in, according to Moxfield, with an estimated total deck price of $80.49 worth of value. And a quick reminder that I believe the precons actually come out on the 23rd, so from the time of this recording in a couple of days, prices might adjust slightly, but yeah, I mean, this can just give you, just basically like a pretty good view of which precons are, more value-centric than others. Regardless, this precon is built around Sam and Frodo, a great partner combination. Sam gives you foods, makes your foods less costly to actually activate, and then Frodo says, hey, give me foods. Well, actually, more so, sacrifice those foods, gain some life, tempt me with the ring, and then you can draw some cards and whatnot. Regardless, when it comes to the actual cards that are, more expensive in this precon, it does come with some that actually are pretty powerful from new prints, but also, yeah, some great reprints as well. Toxic Deluge currently is the most expensive card in this precon value-wise. Toxic Deluge is a $9 card with this reprint. Sorcery for 3 mana. There's cost to cast this spell. Pay X life. All creatures gets -X until end of turn. Basically a very flexible, potentially even one-sided board wipe that does cost, just 3 mana. Does cost some life, but in some decks that does not matter. You can gain a lot of life in other ways. You may even want to lose life if you got this with like a life swap deck. Regardless, just a fantastic, very popular board wipe and a great reprint. Speaking of great reprints, next up, Birds of Paradise Bop is here as well. 0/1 bird with flying for a green mana. Tap for 1 mana of any color. This is a fantastic low-to-the-ground mana dork, a $6 card, and again, a fantastic reprint for a card like this. Next up, Anguished Unmaking, a great removal spell, 3 mana in total. Exile target non-land permanent, you lose 3 life. Instant speed, basically get rid of whatever you need on the board. Yeah, non-land, so yeah, you can't get rid of Gaia's Cradle, but still, you can get rid of pretty much any pesky thing, get rid of it basically permanently, and yeah, the cost of 3 life, that is well worth it for such a low-to-the-ground instant speed spell. Next up, Rapacious Guest, a brand new card. It's going to be around $3 or so, at least for now. Again, a quick reminder, this is before the actual precons come out, so I can give you kind of a heads up to say, hey, if you're looking to buy one before they actually come out, which one might you want to actually buy, which one might you want to pre-order, and yeah, that current price might change. That being said, 2/2 Halfling Citizen for 3 mana in total. Menace, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat to a player, you get a food token. That can be a lot of food tokens. Again, basically, if you hit all opponents, that's going to be 3 for each turn. Whenever you sacrifice a food, you get a counter on this creature. When it leaves the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to its power. Yeah, outside of just getting those counters on it, of course, Blackblade or Forge cards that can really pump it a lot. Any of those kind of equipment can make it just a really giant draining machine. Next up, Feasting Hobbit, and working with food as well. 2/2 Halfling Citizen for 2 mana, Devour Food 3, enters battlefield, sacrifice food. Get that many ×3 counters on it, and creatures with power less than it can't block it. So pretty much an unblockable beast in a food deck. Then we've got the Gaffer, around $3 right now as well. The Gaffer is a fantastic value engine for life gain strategies, and a great commander in its own right. 2/3 Halfling Peasant for 3 mana. Beginning of each end step, if you gain 3 more life this turn, draw a card. Once you're set up properly, hey, you can draw, I mean, a lot of cards throughout the game. 4 cards with each trip around the table if all your opponents are still there. Doesn't take all that much to get set up. And let's just bring up one final card. Again, another great reprint. Chromatic Lantern, a fantastic mana rock. One that isn't all that efficient itself, but it does help you in an incredible way. Cost 3, taps for 1 mana of any color, but more importantly, lands you control have tap add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So basically, hey, all your lands have perfect mana fixing. This is incredible in many decks. Yeah, 5 color decks out there. Absolutely love perfect mana fixing. And yeah, 3+ is probably where you are going to want this. So yeah, again, overall, this is the least value-centric precon with an estimated value, according to Moxfield again, of $80.49 currently. But now let's move on to the third most value-centric precon with Riders of Rohan with Eowyn Shield Maiden as the commander. The estimated cost for this entire precon with all cards considered currently is $121.98. So quite the jump from our previous one, like a $40 value jump, and we're going to see why that might be. Regardless, Eowyn Shield Maiden, a 5/4 human knight with first strike that is in Jeskai, costing 5. Beginning of combat on your turn, if another human enter the battlefield under your control this turn, create 2/2 red human knight creature tokens. And they have trample and haste, and on top of that, if you control 6 or more humans, you also draw a card. That is massive. Basically, hey, this doesn't specify non-token human. So essentially, any human entering the battlefield, including tokens, and there are plenty of ways to make human tokens, you are going to be getting a lot of value. Again, making 2 more tokens that are 2/2s with trample and haste. And on top of that, drawing cards. Again, this basically just getting even just 2 activations is going to get you there. And of course, there's plenty of other ways to make tokens like I already talked about. Yeah, this can be a very good value-centric commander that can really take humans in a great direction. When it comes to a tribal deck as well, there's some really good reprints in this one too. Door of Destinies, the most expensive card at this point from this precon. A great reprint, $15.83 currently. Artifact for 4 mana. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you play a spell that type, you put a charge counter on this. Creatures you control of that type get +1 for each charge counter on it. Obviously, you're choosing human, and every single time you cast a human, you are going to get more and more counters on this to pump your team. Keep in mind, obviously, even your smallest humans, even your 1/1 token humans, they're going to be making with different spells. They're going to get massive with that. And yeah, the tokens that your commander making are going to be 2/2s. Plus, you know, if you got 4 counters on this, just like 6 6s. Like, you get 12 power for just getting a human into play. Yeah, this can get quite ridiculous. There's a reason why this is a really, really good card in tribal decks. Next up, a human that is massive for this deck as well. Combat Celebrant, a $12 reprint for 1 human warrior for 3 mana. If it hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as attacks. When you do, untap all other creatures you control after this combat phase, the initial combat phase. Essentially, this one is going to be an extra combat spell for you. This can be repeatable if you can protect it in combat, but if it's not protected, that's okay. This is a 3 mana extra combat in a human itself that can really help you out. Next up, Oath of Errol. A saga for 5 mana in total. The first lore counter, you get 2 1/1 white human soul creature tokens. Yeah, that can be really good, obviously, with a commander like this that loves humans. The second one, you get 2/2 red human knight creature tokens, trample and haste. So again, another way to just add to that count. The third one, put an indestructible counter up to 1 target human, you become the monarch. So monarch being introduced can be a great way to generate card advantage for you. And yeah, the indestructible counter can be a great way to protect a key creature, especially your commander. Speaking of protecting your commander, again, your commander has first strike, so Shared Animosity, a gross reprint. Enchantment for just 3 mana, around $7, $8 or so. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it's +1/+0 until end of turn for each other creature that's attacking it. That shares the creature type with it. Okay, basically, again, you are running human tribal, right? You've got an absurd amount of humans. Your commander makes 2 humans every single time another human comes into play. You're going to be getting, you know, +5, +10, +15. I mean, you can get way up there when it comes to power. It doesn't increase the defense, but still, yeah, you can have your creatures hit incredibly hard. And again, with your commander having first strike, it's going to be protected thanks to this. Next up, Vanquisher's Banner, another great reprint. Around $6 or $7, artifact for 5, enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creature you control the chosen type get +1/+1. So a nice little anthem there. More importantly, though, whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. So an absurd amount of value can be had here. And then finally, let's bring up a new card that's around $5 or $6 at this point. Aragorn, King of Gondor. 4 mana in Jeskai, 4/4 human noble, vigilance lifelink, enters the battlefield to become the monarch. When it attacks, up to 1 target creature can't block this turn. If you're the monarch, creatures can't block this turn. Gross. Yeah, again, this is going to be a great card, especially in the 99 of a deck like this. Being able to make your army unblockable is huge. Also, just the additional value you get from being the monarch is really nice. And as a commander, of course, this can be quite gross. You can really take advantage of, say, blink effects by blinking this before your turn. Again, let's just say in the end step right before your turn, you blink this, you get the monarch. Then Aragorn is not going to be affected by summoning sickness. You can swing on your turn. All your creatures are unblockable, and your opponents are in big trouble. So yeah, some really good prints in this deck. Some really good reprints. And yeah, $121.98. That's a good amount of value, but still the third most value out of any precon so far. But now let's step things up to number 2, the second most value-centric precon and that is going to be Elven Council. That's right, the Simic Precon built around elves. $124 worth of value according to Moxfield, so just stepping up ever so slightly over Riders of Rohan, about $3 or so. So that, again, that first jump from 4 to 3 was quite large. This one, not so much. Regardless, still, number 2 right now, Galadriel Oven Queen, is all about... Well, let's see. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if an elf enters the battlefield under control this turn, starting with you, each player votes for Dominion or Guidance. If Dominion gets more votes, the ring tempts you, then you get a counter on your ring bear. Guidance gets more votes, and the vote is tied, draw a card. So, Elf Tribal kind of mixed with politics, I would say, essentially. So, a really interesting new direction for Elf Tribal in Simic. And yeah, it's got a lot of potential. A lot of players out there really like elves, and of course, it has a lot of potential when it comes to reprints as well. A massive one, around $11 or $12, is Swan Song. Instant speed, 1 mana, counter target enchantment, instant or sorcery spell. Its controller gets a 2/2 bird. Basically, hey, you know that really expensive spell you just cast that's very important to you? Here's a bird instead. Yeah, it just cost me 1 mana to do that. A great counter spell in a lot of decks out there. And again, one that has been quite expensive, really hasn't seen many reprints, and there you go, a new reprint for this one, and it's quite the expensive card. Speaking of which, Heroic Intervention, my goodness, I remember when this card was budget-friendly such a long time ago, and for just a brief window. An incredible card for 2 mana, permanents you control gain hexproof indestructible end of turn, basically a great way to save everything that you have from pretty much anything. Okay, not everything, but a lot of things, the vast majority of things this saves from. Again, instant speed, 2 mana, save your entire team from any kind of a board wipe, essentially targeted removal. $10, a great reprint indeed. Next up, Asceticism. I think this might be the first reprint of this card. Actually, I could be wrong on that. Still, $9 or so right now. Enchantment for 5 mana. Creatures you control can't be the targets of spells, abilities your opponents control. So basically, creatures you control have hexproof. That is massive, especially on an enchantment. And then pay 1 agree and regenerate target creature. So this as an enchantment, enchantments in general are harder to deal with than other kinds of permanents. And then also, yeah, this protects your permanents in multiple ways. Your creatures are going to have hexproof, and on top of that, you can regenerate them. So even if someone casts a board wipe, you still can save at least some key pieces on your team with that regeneration. So yeah, a great reprint around $10. Next up, a card that is reminiscent of another very expensive card that just got even more expensive. We got Galadrim Ambush, an instant for 4 mana. Create X/1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens or X the number of attacking creatures. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn by non-elf creatures. Basically, you're running Elf Tribal, right? Cool. Hey, you get more elves for just 4 mana, instant speed, a ton of elves potentially, and you might be able to take out your opponent's creatures that they're actually blocking as well. Yeah, basically a great fog effect that is also a token generator. Yeah, we've seen a card like this before. Yeah, that is in spiders, but now we also have it in elves, which of course is an even more popular creature type. So yeah, $8. I wouldn't be surprised if this one went up even more than that at some point. Next up, Rejuvenating Springs, a land that's around $8 or so, a great reprint. One of our, basically multiplayers, matters, lands, enters the battlefield, tap unless you have 2 or more opponents, and it can tap for green or blue. So, in many instances, this is a dual land that does come into play untapped, unless it's later in the game when there's only a one-on-one situation. Still, yeah, a fantastic reprint. And finally, Elvish Piper, a 1/1 elf shaman for 4 mana in total. Pay a green, tap, put a creature card from your hand on the battlefield. Just cheat big things out for a single mana. Yeah, that can be quite potent. And again, around $6 or so. This one hasn't seen too many reprints. And yeah, it's been quite a while since its last reprint. Not surprising, it's got a big price tag. Again, when it comes to the price tag overall for this Precon, though, yeah, around $124 worth of value according to Moxfield. So that is good enough for second place. So, of course, when it comes to first place, well, that only leaves Hosts of Mordor. That's right, Mordor is on top ever so slightly with the estimated value, according to Moxfield, at $124.68. So just snuck past Elven Council, but still good enough for number 1. A good amount of value in this Precon, led by Sauron, Lord of the Rings. 8 mana in total in Grixis, a 9/9 avatar that says, when you cast a spell, amass orcs 5, mill 5 cards, reanimate a creature, trample, whenever a commander opponent controls dies, the ring tempts you. So a lot of value with this commander to be had. Most importantly, in my opinion, that reanimation effect that deals with the milling as well, getting some good creatures into your graveyard in one way or another, reanimating them back out It's only on a cast, so keep that in mind. That being said, there are ways to use and abuse this, and yeah, can just give you a lot of value. When it comes to reprints, one really valuable one around $13 or so is Reanimate, a single black mana sorcery speed. Reanimate a creature. Sure, you lose life fields to converted mana cost, but still, a single mana to reanimate something, that is absurd. Yeah, a great reprint at $13. Next up, not a reprint, brand new card, 9 mana, but again, you can cheat it out if it's in your graveyard. 6/6 Dragon for, again, 7 red. Cavern Horde Dragon. Spell cost X less cast for the greatest number of artifacts and opponent controls. So this can just cost 2 mana, really. Flying triple haste. Deals combat damage to a player. You create treasure token for each artifact that player controls. That can be absurd. Again, this takes advantage of mana rocks. It takes advantage of opponents having treasures or food, etc., etc. This can be a heavy hitter. And of course, it is a dragon. So yeah, Dragon Tribal out there is going to be considering this as well. Speaking of which, one that they already consider, Scourge of the Throne, a $9 reprint, 5/5 Flying Dragon for 6 mana in total, Dethrone. Basically, if it attacks the player with the most life, you get a counter on it. Or attacks the first time it's turn. If it's attacking the player with the most life or time for the most life, you get extra combat. Yeah, like I've said before, the extra combats can be quite potent, especially in a deck that's going to be aggressive, have big things in play, and can hit really hard. Moving on, a brand new card, the Blackgate, around $6 or so at this point. A legendary land. As it enters the battlefield, you can pay 3 life. If you don't enter the battlefield, tap. So this can enter the battlefield untapped. Taps for a single black mana. Also, by paying 1 in a black, you can tap to choose a player with the most life or time for the most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. So, a land that could potentially, again, just basically be a swamp for you. I mean, but a swamp that has a lot of additional value for you. I have to say, this is also a gate, so it does work in gate tribal decks as well. Essentially, a land that, again, can come and play untapped and can give you additional value. Sure, it costs 3 life, but 3 life really isn't all that much in a format like Commander. And then one final one I'm going to bring up is Lord of the Nazgul. 4/3 Wraith Noble Flying. That costs 5 mana in total. Wraiths you control have protection from Ring Bearers. When you cast an instant sorcery spell, you get a 3/3 Black Wraith creature token with Menace. Then if you control 9 or more Wraiths you control have base power toughness 9/9 until end of turn. Tolren, eat your heart out. I mean, Tolren's going to work great in a deck like this with this kind of a commander. Again, this is a card that can be great in the 99 of a spell-slinging deck. Also, it is great as a commander itself, of course. Give you an absurd amount of creature tokens. Again, 3/3s for every single instant sorcery spell. It's like a lightning bolt worth of damage for a 3/3. And you can turn those into 9/9, so triple that up essentially. So very, very exciting. Very, very good again in the 99 of decks and also as a commander itself. Overall, again, the total value of this precon, according to Moxfield, $124.68. So again, hosts of Mordor have got the top spot. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. So let me know what your thoughts are on in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.